experiences. The best example I can give is, I don't know if any of you ever, let's put it this way, if you're in writing or any other creative, actually everyone has examples of this. They call it being in the zone. You could be trying to write, let's say, a beautiful piece, or if you're an artist, some other form of art, music, or anything. And as long as you're sensing that you're busy doing it, you're not there yet. There comes a point where you lose sense of yourself, and you simply become a channel and just flows through you. And as soon as you think you feel yourself, you lose it. It's almost, and when you have that, it's the greatest gift. And you cannot in any way bottle that. Because if you try to bottle it, you lose it. It's a state of almost not being conscious of yourself while you're doing it. And you only know after the fact you realize you were there. It's like saying that love is not a verb but a noun. When you're in the experience, you become one with the experience that you can't even say, I had the experience. You really feel that as if you're a channel for something beyond you. I hope that resonates. And if you've had a taste of that, you know what I'm talking about. That's an example. You can see it, but not by looking at it. And that is a state of vulnerability. That's the invincibility of vulnerability. Because that can never be destroyed. But as I said, the tools, the world in which we live and the tools which we use are all about acquisition. We acquire this, I own this, and what do you own? And equity, and you own this. Everybody's got their list of things that you own. And then some people check it every 5 minutes to make sure they still have it, or at least to give them a say. If everything else is gone, at least I have this in my bank account. And literally, you can't imagine, people will never admit how vulnerable they feel, but they're constantly checking all these, make sure that their possessions are there. And then we have insurance to make sure that it protects them. We have insurance for the insurance, and as many levels as you may need for your security. And then there are people who have none of that, but they feel more secure than anybody you'll ever meet. Because they're not defined by anything outside. You can't take anything away from them because they're not defined by what they own. They talk about the Jewish leaders. A Jewish leader is defined, leadership. What's leadership? Most of us see leaders. Leaders are defined by what they have. They're leaders with a lot of wealth, a lot of ambition, a lot of connections, a lot of horse dealing, a lot of corruption, a lot of something or another. In Judaism, the leaders, the kings were, how they were defined? By what they did not have. No ego, bittul. Moses was the humblest man that walked on earth. Now that doesn't mean he didn't know his qualities. It meant that he knew his qualities, but he said, they're not my own. They were given to me by God. Had someone else been given these qualities, they would have done better than I. And this was not just not just lip service. He sincerely felt that. A person like that can never be destroyed. Because he's not built by himself. Nothing can destroy him. He becomes a channel for something beyond himself. So I hope some of these words that I said here will help us appreciate or try to enter a new type of world where vulnerability is actually the greatest asset, as opposed to a world that's hostile, where vulnerability is the greatest liability. Very different worlds. Vulnerability is basically you in your purest form, without fears, and without all the accrements that cause us to live in fear and live in insecurity and need to protect ourselves. Practically speaking, can you enter such a world? Yes, you can. That doesn't mean that you can just do it anywhere in any situation. It's finding environments and finding moments where you access your Holy of Holies. This can be moments of study, of prayer, meditation, contemplation, with friends. It could be swimming. It can be in love. It can be taking a stroll. We all have tastes of this. Everybody relates to it because it resonates, but the problem is we don't have control over it. It's more like almost like little escapes that we take, the places we go to for some solace. But to see it as a model for life, something that you can aspire to, that everything in life is meant to lead you to that place. For most of us, as I said, it's a compartmentalized experience. I know I'm going on vacation. I think I'll have a little peace there. Maybe that's called the Holy of Holies for me. I'll be a little vulnerable on my own somewhere. But to turn that into a standard that is your life, and the rest is only meant to be a stage for you to experience your own inner vulnerability, that's a different type of story. So like they say, we're not physical beings on a spiritual journey, we're spiritual beings on a physical journey. We're not aggressive, selfish creatures that from time to time have some type of spiritual epiphany. We're spiritual, vulnerable entities. We're children having an adult experience, not adults that were once children. And definitely not children who are just adults in formation, adults in the making. So my friends, look, you all have that inner child, you all have that inner spirit, and the ability to really celebrate it. Learning to celebrate vulnerability is the greatest gift in life. You know then you're real. That's where reality begins to enter. Up till that point, you can go through many emotions, you can do a lot of good things, but it's all little pieces of not the real thing. The real pure thing is that ability to not have the fears and know that you have that place inside of you that nothing can hurt, and therefore there's nothing to protect from. The challenge is to find the right friends and the right environments, as I said, the right people, to be able to somewhat have taste of it. And one of the most healing, I would say refreshing things in life is to do something without an agenda for your own gain. Jews come together, we come to study Torah. Here, it's a class like this, people online. You're not going away here with any awards or degrees or some type of recognition. Everybody's got their reasons why they're sitting here. Or any type of Torah class. One of the beautiful things about it is, you go to a seminar, real estate tips, or how to do this or how to do that. The most purifying experiences, the ones that do not feed into your selfishness.